Okay, folks. 8 a.m. Good morning. It's 8 a.m. out just outside of Philadelphia. The temperature is 26 degrees, and OMG, is it really cold out. My name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach, and I'll be here with you for the next hour or so to help you with what you're stuck with. Are you stuck with clutter? Oh my God, that's about as goofy professional as I will get. My little FM radio voice. Oh, it cracks me up. Reminds me of listening to the radio in the morning when I was a kid, getting ready for school. Specifically, I'm thinking of like a little bit. Oops. Good morning. When I was in junior high, getting ready on these cold fall into winter mornings. Ooh, my least favorite. But hey, I'm here. I'm bundled up. I got a little lap blanket on. I got my cup of tea. How about you? You good? Yeah, user Debbie, actually, thanks. No, you know what? I was just bumping up the font so I could see it from a distance because, you know, that's what, I don't wear these just for show. No, these help me. So good morning, everybody. It's early-ish, but I like to reach out and do my TikTok lives at different times. I just realized I have smudges all over my glasses. But I'm showing up on your feed today, in your life, in my life even, to say, what's got you stuck? What is a roadblock, clutter-wise and otherwise, but we'll start with the clutter. What is the roadblock that's keeping you from your destination decluttered? What is your destination decluttered? Do you even know? And I say this with encouragement. If you don't know, it's almost like when you're driving your car and you're like, where am I going? I don't even know. So pull over to the side of the road. Pull over, park yourself, even for freaking 5 minutes. 5 minutes will help you say, what do I want my home to look like? What do I want my home to look like? And what do I want to feel like when I'm in my home? So Sherry, let me ask you this. Sherry is saying paperwork. So let me ask you this. How does your paperwork make you feel? Now, I'm a certified life coach, so I may approach decluttering your home differently than other people. I actually probably do, but that's cool. There's room for all of us. I was going to say all of us in the pool. Sure. But let me ask everybody, including Sherry, just because you mentioned your paperwork, how does your clutter make you feel? Okay, when you're stuck, I get this, and there's only a handful of us here, so you and I can do a little bit back and forth. When you feel stuck, do you feel that anywhere in your body? Do you feel light and airy? Do you feel heavy and hunched over? Trapped? Okay. Stuck? Trapped. Notice how these two things too, and I'm waiting, as people show up. Hey, good morning. But as we show up, notice I'm jumping right into it. Anxious. Okay, anxious. Notice where you feel that in your body. Do you feel it? I tend to notice how my hands immediately go to right around here. I feel a lot of stuff right here, right here. So just notice that. And how would you rather feel? I bet, honestly, this is how I do it. The opposite of anxious, whatever that is to you. So I like to feel a more peaceful, feeling, easy feeling, where I normally would for my anxiety. Taking a few deep breaths is going to help you when you think of your paperwork. Okay, slowing down, chunking it down. Now, this is where we get from the calming down your nervous system portion of the process to getting into what your paperwork is. If you jump right into it like you have done, notice stuck, trapped, all these things, depressed and trapped. Notice how those are words you're using that make you feel like you're not moving, that you're stuck, your wheels are stuck, you're trapped, you can't move, like you're anxious, you're paralyzed, whatever. I want to feel free in my home, says somebody. I don't have much, but it's too much for me, and I get anxiety attacks. Notice what you just said, too, is it's too much for me. Everybody's got their own level of comfort with stuff. Some people laugh to think that I'm a decluttering life coach because I have a lot of cool stuff around my house. But notice I say I have a lot of cool stuff. I don't say I have a lot of clutter. But notice how your clutter makes you feel. And then it makes you feel something in your body, in your head, in your body, somewhere. So before you even start with reaching out to say, I got to do something with this stuff, start inside, start in here, and take a few deep breaths. This is what I call overcoming the overwhelm, aka all the downs. If you've been on one of my TikTok lives, or maybe you were one of my one-on-one clients, maybe you're on the Destination Decluttered email mailing list, notice I use the same tools over and over again, but I'm really good at them. Overwhelm. It's got the word over in it. The opposite of over is down. So what you want to think of is slowing down, is even just slowing down and breathing down into the bottom of your lungs. A few times. 3 is a magic number. Yes, it is. It's a magic number because I am a Gen Xer who loved Schoolhouse Rock. 3 deep breaths. Slow down, even moving your body down. Notice when you're not stuck. When you're stuck, you can't move. So move your body. Say, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to just calm down my nervous system. And then, instead of doing what I've done before with my clutter, what I will do is I will continue the downs. I'm going to write it down. I'm going to write down what I want my home to look like. I'm going to write down the things I already know to do to get my stuff going. And then I'm going to chunk it down. I'm going to chunk it down into sections of time during the day, a section of a room in your house, anything where you can chunk it down to make it slower so that it gets to a point where your body and your plan gets to a point where you say, this seems doable. And then you do the thing. You then take the action. When you feel okay to do it, you take the action. That's pretty much so much of it every single morning, every single day. Okay? So notice that. You don't want to feel stuck. You want to feel moving. You want to feel moving, not just moving any random direction, but I would think you want to feel moving in the right direction for you, which is towards your destination decluttered. Now, I am a road tripper and I love to travel, so I get excited about destinations. Where are we going? I want to go there. I want to enjoy the process too. I don't want to just, be on trucker speed and go like that, okay? If you're feeling trapped, you want to feel free. Right? Notice that the stuff that is keeping you trapped and stuck is just stuff. Now, it's just stuff really on the conscious level. It's just stuff. This is a thing I bought at Target. This is a thing I picked up at a garage sale. Then it gets a little bit different. This is a thing that somebody gave me that I don't really like, but I feel guilty. All of a sudden, feelings get involved. When you notice that, then you can just observe that, get curious, and change the way you think about things. So this is kind of how I coach about stuff. I like to have fun with it. I think it is so cool because when you learn about the stuff behind the stuff, the thoughts behind your feelings behind the actions or inactions, the stuck, the trapped, then you can do something about it. If you're like, I don't know. Give yourself a moment, calm yourself down and say, maybe I do know. What do I know? I know when I feel anxious, I feel tight in my chest. I feel something in the pit of my stomach. I want to go like this and like curl up like a little armadillo. What do I want to feel? I want to feel like I'm able to breathe deeply and okay, to get oxygen into my body. I want to feel free. What is free in my home? I don't have much, but it's too much for me. What's the right amount for you? Notice that user 42111 blah, blah, blah says, I have too much for me. Everybody, I truly believe this. We all have a set point in our own body that we feel comfortable with the level of stuff we have in our home. Anything below it seems like, no, that I don't want to really get rid of that, and it feels okay to keep it. But anything above that is too much. People say often they're drowning in their clutter. Drowning, think about it. Your head, when you're breathing in your water and you're swimming around, this is just right. This is fun. When it starts to be too much, then it gets panicky and anxious, right? So notice just all it is stuff between your just right point and your too much. And what clutter is this stuff right here. It's this level of stuff. And the more all you need to do is just work on that a little bit at a time so you align your nervous system with it. And then it feels better a little bit. Feels good here. Okay, I can do a little bit more. Can do a little more until you get there. And then as you're doing this, ideally you're changing your habits so you get to this place and you stay this way. So easy. I know. Here I go. 10 minutes. You're all set. I'll see you later. Bye. Oh my God. If I wish, huh? I was cluttered for decades. I've lived in a cluttered home. My family's cluttered. My family is cluttered. Not just was cluttered, is cluttered. And that's okay because we all have our own thoughts and feelings and actions regarding our clutter. What I noticed is that when I was cluttered to a certain extent, I thought it was fun. Look at all my cool stuff. This is really neat. And then at a certain point, it got to be too much. And I said, I want to do something about it. Okay. Yeah, Sherry, notice when you say that it makes you want to eat or drink when you feel anxious, notice that is your body's response to try to make you feel better from the anxiety. But notice that it isn't that food or drink that's causing the anxiety. It is your clutter. So doing something about the clutter is going to be so much more powerful than reaching for a snack. All right? Okay, if you feel it in your belly, okay, could you even just everybody, if you ever think, I like to play with this stuff. This is how I was taught. This is how I have fun with coaching. Because to me, coaching shouldn't be serious. And like the way I coach anyway, I don't respond to really serious, dramatic coaching. I kind of get that way. I like to go into the deep end of the pool, as I like to say, but I also like to have fun, because when I have fun, I'm more likely to learn. So what if you could do this? What if you could just reach into your body and pull the anxiety out and look at it and place it aside? Just get it out of you and say, what does it look like? Is it round? Is it square? Is it prickly? Is it cold? Is it hot? Identify it. Take it out of you. Just as a game, and then see what it feels like if you could just do that. And then notice that feeling of good and say, I want more of this, please. And then what can I do to get it? And then you say, okay, well, if it's my clutter that's causing this anxiety, I bet you anything, if I work on my clutter, it's going to decrease my anxiety. Okay. So there we go. So we started with this, and this is me jumping in. I totally admit it's only 8:11 and it's early in the morning. I jumped into the deep end today just because that's where my head was at, and I wanted to just show you that it's not just about, well, all you need to do is, but then there is the all you need to do is portion of the show. So what I would say is, after you get your physical body and you're kind of like, okay, I'm ready to work on this, and you're taking the action, when you've gotten yourself from stuck to started and you want to work on your paperwork, I will show you a way of thinking about this that works with pretty much every kind of clutter you have, which is a couple of things, is categorizing things. At the core of this, what you're going to be saying to yourself with every single item in your home, and it takes like a fraction of a second. It's going to take me longer to say it out loud than it does in your head. You're going to say, and where's the thing? What's this thing? Do I want it? If I want it, where does a place that makes sense for me to put it, to me? If I don't want it, what's the easiest way of me getting it out of my house? At lather, rinse, repeat, right there. Everybody always forgets the lather. They just say rinse, repeat. Everybody forgets lather, rinse, repeat. I remember that on the back of the Head & Shoulders bottle when I was in the tub. Come on, okay? So just notice this. Denise is saying, when my surroundings are cluttered, my mind feels cluttered. So yeah, I didn't have a time to post it, but I did a TikTok video that I will post this morning, right from coming back from my my morning walk. And what I said to y'all and myself was, do you have space in your life for what's important to you? And it's not just physical space for more stuff. No, it's space in here and in here. Do you have peace of mind? Do you have it so it doesn't feel cluttered, it doesn't sound cluttered in your head? So notice, Denise, when you can notice that more clutter makes you feel cluttered up here, if you work on your clutter outside, it's going to help decrease the effect of your clutter on the inside. Okay? Okay, so paperwork. Let's talk about paperwork. Paperwork is what it is. I have a bunch of papers on my desk right here. Now, the interesting thing is we're kind of in a hybrid society, because we have some stuff that's on my computer, some stuff that's just paper, some things that's halvesies. Get curious about what your paper is. Now, how you do this is you categorize it. So go to a place where you have maybe you have a doom box, maybe you have a doom bag, a doom pile of paper that you're like, you notice this. When you look, like Bionic Man. Was it the Bionic Man or the Bionic Woman who had the eyes? You look at that pile of paper that's bumming you out. And then, like sonar, a message comes back that goes through your head and then makes you feel a certain way about that paper. Notice this, because when you look at a ream of paper from Staples, when you look at a stack of like thousands of pieces of paper from Staples that haven't been touched and they're still in their packages, when you look at that, the message comes back, oh, that's just blank paper. When you look at the paper that you're dreading going through, a different story comes back. What is that story? Oh my God, that's going to be so much. I'm so overwhelmed. I don't even. Shh. That's the overwhelm talking. That's your backseat driver saying, don't deal with it. It's going to be painful. I'm afraid of what's going to happen. Calm that shit down. And then just notice. When you feel better, you will look at it. You know what? This is just a bunch of paper with words on it, with ink on it. What are these words? They're just words. So categorize these things. Here are my credit card statements I need to do something with. Here are some papers that are from the DMV. Here's a paper from my son's school. Here's a paper about my retirement fund. Here's a paper about, an overdue notice that I have. Notice you have categories of things. What are your categories? You will organically, when you go through enough, like even just a handful of papers, you're going to come up with your own categories. Categorize them because that helps your brain. It makes your brain say, okay, I don't have to make a decision on every one of these 100 pieces of paper. I can put them in a pile, and one thought process can work on that pile. Okay? You can do something about this, but until you feel like you can do it, notice I say feel, you might get just stuck and trapped and spinning. Calming down your nervous system, going from overwhelm to down, taking some deep breaths, saying, I can do this. I'm going to try to do this. Maybe I feel like I can't do it, but I'm going to experiment. I'm going to try. I'm going to set my timer on my phone for 5 minutes. I'm going to even just touching that piece of paper is an action that will show you that that paper doesn't have power over you, that you have power over it. All right? What else do we have? I'm just looking at some things, people, about things. All right. I see Lisa. Okay, so Lisa Lee is saying, I seem to be the home for family hand-me-downs. Sigh. Notice that. Notice when I say this, notice this, my hand. I say, aha, isn't that interesting? Notice that. And then what are you going to do about it? How can you stop that? Notice how I've put my little traffic cop hand out. You notice something like this. Aha. Aha, I noticed something. I end up being the person who gets all the family hand-me-downs. And it doesn't make me feel good. What do I want to do about it? What can I do about it? You can stop that with love and affection. Say, hey, thank you, but no thank you. You can put up your little traffic cop hand and say, you know what, thanks, I'm good. I don't need that stuff. You can donate that somewhere else. I'm good. Taking an action, knowing you can do that, comes from that insight of noticing what bugs you. And if you don't like being the home for family hand-me-downs, you can do something about it. Okay? Miss Sue is saying, I've put myself last for way too long. Noticing that, right? My husband went on a weekend trip. I get to do this. Yes, you totally do. And just the cool thing is coming to that point of insight. Notice me. Like that point of insight is at a fork in the road. You've been driving this way, and then you say, wait a minute. I've been doing this for way too long. I've got the hand-me-downs. My husband's going on a trip. I'm not going on a trip. I want to do something different. So instead of keeping on going on that road, you can take a different direction, and you can drive in a direction of a life you want, a life with fewer hand-me-downs, a life and with more weekend trips for yourself. Okay, notice that. All right, I love it. Miss Sue is saying to Shell, I've been reminding myself to say encouraging thoughts in my head versus condemning that it is bad. Brilliant, Miss Sue, everybody. That's where it's at. Up here, look at me, I'm even tapping, motorboat. This is where it happens. This goes to this, goes to this. You oftentimes, 99.9% of the time, you have a thought in your head, a sentence in your head, a little ticker tape, tick, 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 tick. I don't deserve this. This is going to be hard. Going through the paperwork is going to be hard. It's just words in your head. If you write it down, it becomes words on paper. You can look at it. And then you say, is that really true? Or even if I think it's true, how can I make it not true? How about I know how to make it easier? I'll just, set my timer for 5 minutes. The more you talk nicely to yourself, the more you treat yourself nicely, the more encouraged you will be to do the things that are going to change your life. If you're always berating yourself, and notice how I'm using my different hands, okay? You've got a thought, an unhelpful thought that makes you feel lousy in your body, in your solar plexus, in your heart, and then you do something with your hand. You either hang on to stuff or you don't do anything. You're stuck, you're trapped, all this. There is another way. And it starts with noticing that there is an unhelpful thought in your head. And then on the other side, when you say, I would like to do something different, on the other hand, how can I translate that unhelpful thought and turn it into a more helpful thought? Yeah, I know I got so much clutter. Oh my God. Yeah, I do. But you know what? I want to change it. So I'm going to do something today. I'm going to set my timer for 5 minutes. And I'm going to start to declutter. I'm going to show my body and my brain that when I have something, and now this is where Vanilla Ice is coming up in my head, people. You've heard it before. If I got a problem, I'll solve it. Check out the groove while my DJ revolves it. Okay? When you notice a problem, then you have an opportunity to do something about it. Awareness. It's where it's at. And how I start, and what's made a difference for me and feels so much freaking better than the decades I spent berating myself, is to say, you know what? I'm going to decide to think and feel and believe something better. And then when I feel better, when I think better, I feel better. And when I feel better, then I do better. I go out and I take an action. I don't just stay in thought mode and stuck. I get moving and I take an action, and I take an action that's leading towards the life I want, that destination decluttered, where it feels light and free and full of possibility and adventure and open for opportunity, and who knows what the world's going to bring today, but it could be something really awesome. Okay? So notice that Miss Sue and Shell, so many people. There we go. I love it, Charlene. You so spot on. I learned to ask myself when putting something away. Notice where I said, here's another thing. What's this thing? Do I want it? If the answer is yes, where does it go? That would make sense to me. Where would I go to look for this? That is brilliant. Everybody here is brilliant, including myself. You all have such good stuff in you. Pay attention to your brilliance and trust it. That's your co-pilot. I talk about your drivers, your backseat drivers are the unhelpful thoughts that get you stuck and diverting and taking detours when you really want to get to this destination. You also have a co-pilot. Now, I like to think as a coach, as a person who shows up on TikTok, I show up in co-pilot energy. I show up in that, you can do it, you've got this, I totally freaking believe in you. And I will highlight, I like to show off to yourself, look at the awesome thing you just did. Do you see what you just did? As you said to yourself, I'm going to make a home that looks and feels and functions well for me, because I'm putting stuff in a place that makes sense for me, because it's going to be easier when I go to look for the scissors, when I go to look for my winter jacket, that I know where it goes because I put it away in a place that I connected up in my brain to say, that belongs here, makes sense. You didn't just kind of randomly, without intention, throw it somewhere. Okay? So just notice that. There we go. One quick thing I can do right now for instant gratification, Tina's asking for. You got it. 3 deep breaths, relax your body, and then pay attention to what you're grateful for. Pay attention to all the cool stuff you have. Notice, clutter is an abundance problem. Clutter is a problem of too much. How cool is it that you have not even just the right amount? You don't have lack, though you may have lack up here. You don't have lack of stuff. You have enough stuff. And clutter is the stuff that is too much. So think about how lucky you are to be in a situation where you could afford to have all these things in your home. Now notice that even just having too much of anything can sometimes just not feel good. I say this because I ate way too much leftover Halloween candy yesterday. So big surprise, I woke up this morning not feeling so great. I admit it, I'm a human, right? Well, I say right. The answer is yes, I am. I am not a robot. I am not a robot. So just be grateful. When you notice all the good stuff, it puts your energy in a better position so you can say, okay, yeah, you know what? Things aren't as bad as I seem. And then what can I do today? How about this? Pay attention to what you're grateful for and then say, what can I do today to make myself feel better in a good way, to deal with my clutter? And that could be anything as you could do the dishes. You could spend an hour tidying your house. You could spend 5 minutes doing something. You could throw some trash away. You could donate something somewhere. What can you do today that's going to make you feel better before your head hits the pillow to say, check me out. You know what I did? I decluttered my house today. And it wasn't so bad. It made me feel better. And when I feel better, I do better. So the next day I want to do it. I'll do a little bit more, a little bit more. Okay. Oh, Jessica Ross says, I've lost 41 pounds. Congratulations. That is not easy. So congratulations on you. And still have all my 2X clothes. So you inspired me. Okay. Jessica, give your nervous system, your nerves in your body, time to catch up with the physical body and your brain. So what do I mean by that? Is you may have a thought, if you're keeping the 2X clothes, even though you don't fit in them anymore, you may have a fear, you know what I mean? I feel afraid. I'm afraid that I may gain this weight back again. Now, you don't necessarily want that to happen, but instead of saying, nope, I'm going to throw away those clothes, that might throw your nervous system into a tiz. Baby steps this. How about this? Taking your 2X clothing, take it out of your clothes, put it into some plastic totes, and label it with the date. So that you're saying, you're calming down, you're saying, it's okay, backseat drivers. I know you're afraid I'm going to gain that weight. So guess what? I'm just going to put those clothes away if I gain the weight. They're going to be in storage. So if I have them, that's okay. I don't have to go buy new clothes, but they're there. I don't plan on it, so I'm not keeping them there as a reminder. But I'm going to put them there, and I'll see if I need them. That's cool. But if I don't, in like 6 months, I'm going to donate them. Regulate your nervous system to catch up with your external and your internal world. That's part of the stuff so many people forget. That we have nerves in us, and we have a whole system in there that's ready to try to protect us from fear and disappointment. And you need to talk to it nicely. Treat yourself nicely. That's why doing your decluttering in increments is such a powerful thing. And once you do that and you realize taking it smaller means you can fit it in any time of the day, that you can do a little bit, that you're going to see some stuff, that you get into a good habit, baby stepsing it a little bit helps. That's where we're on the roll. All right. Jessica's just saying, clean out the closet time. I love it. Yeah, many of us have the weight fluctuations thing. You are not alone. You are not alone in saying, I used to fit into these clothes and I don't anymore. And they could go either way. Do I want to fit into them again? I don't know. But you know what I will do? A baby step is to get it out of circulation, get it out of the way of the clothes that currently fit my body, that look good and feel good. And I'm going to one baby step is to get it out of circulation and put it into storage. You know it's there if you need it, but if you don't need it, then in 6 months or so, maybe that's when you can donate those things. Okay? Pastor LG says, you are so gentle. I love learning how to be gentle by watching you talk to strangers. Well, thank you. This is why I approach things the way I do. I do not respond well to people beating me up and yelling at me. I cry. I shut down. I want to protect myself. But when that's all you know about how to motivate yourself, you don't get the results you want. When I found that I could respond well to quiet calmness and love and compassion versus judgment, it says Pastor LG, I don't know, but like the Bible or something, I'm sure it has something about be wicked nice to people, don't be an asshole. I paraphrase. When you're kind and gentle to yourself, it's like a little kid, a scared little kid. It's like a little puppy. Don't be afraid. This is going to be okay. And when you treat yourself with kindness, you respond well. You feel better. Maybe you can not uncurl and be like, am I going to be okay? Yeah, this is going to be okay. This is going to be fun. Your destination decluttered is not someplace you should be dreading. This is a place you should be excited to get to. And so to get there, you're like, oh, I can do this? All right, I'm going to try it. And that's how I respond. That's how I coach. There are other people out there who went to the Marines who were like, suck it up, buttercup, and give me 50. And fine, there's other coaches out like that. If that's what grooves, if that's what you think works, you aren't watching me because it's worked for you. But if you've berated yourself and yelled at yourself and made yourself feel bad, or externally people have, and it hasn't worked, there's another way of doing it. And notice that other way ain't working for you, so this way might. Okay? I love it. Sarah says, my brain is able to process everything you're saying, and it's making sense. Logical and attainable. Sarah, thank you. That is words to my ears. It's early. Those are words to my ears. I say that because I know how much of a difference it meant to me when I felt like my life was in a turmoil, and my clutter, and my job, and what did I want to do when I grew up, and I was already 40-something, and I was like, all the things. When I found a voice of a coach that spoke to me, that made me laugh, that made me feel not alone, that described things in words that didn't make me have to feel like I needed to get out my thesaurus or my dictionary to, what do they mean about the subconscious and the preconscious and the amygdala. There's all that stuff behind it. But when I said, oh, to myself, this was my aha moment, my aha. Oh, it's just like being on a road trip. It's just like creating a road trip. And I could do that because I had a point in my life where I said, why the F is my life I'm feeling so ungood about my life when I can make a kick-ass road trip. And I said, well, what if I just applied the principles of my road tripping and my traveling to my life? And that's why I came into Destination Decluttered. The whole reason I wasn't excited is because I didn't know where I was going. I was afraid that I had to go somewhere that I didn't want to freaking go, where somebody else was saying, you should really do this, you should really do that. I didn't want to, and that's okay. So I said, where do I want to go? And suddenly, baby stepsing it, saying, oh, that's kind of working out. This is kind of working out. baby steps in it. And years later, I am not only there, I am living it, and now I want to help other people get there. Okay? And one of the things I say is, why make it difficult when it can be easy? We all know how to drive a car for the most part. I don't know, some don't. I cracked up one of my very first paying clients. I said that, and she's like, actually, no, I don't drive. I have dyslexia, and my husband drives. And I was like, okay, this is the universe totally saying, oh, yeah, some people don't drive. But many of us even know. But she said, but I know the concept. So think about this. This is how I love to take the drama out of all of this. When you leach the drama out, when you take the bleach and the drama goes bye-bye, all you're left with is some stuff from Target and some habits that you can change, and some thoughts that you can change, some habitual thoughts that you can change. You can stop. When you notice it, you stop it, and then you redirect it. And you don't just redirect it any old way. It's not a detour back to the same old place. It's a detour towards your destination. See that little heart I keep on pointing to there? That's because we are here today, like right there on our journey. It's a road trip to get there. And I say it's a road trip too because I want you to have fun. I want you to enjoy the process every day of your life. I want you to enjoy every day of your life, because what that is you getting a taste of what that destination is long before you get there. That excitement in your heart. I like to equate it to that feeling of when I'm driving to the beach in the summer. Oh my gosh, so excited. I'm still in the driveway, so excited about getting there. Maybe you have a place that you're excited to drive to, you know? Think about places you're not excited to drive to. I'm in the driveway. I'm driving to get dental work done. A different feeling than going to the beach. So notice that. All right. There we go. Boop-a-doo-boo. What else do we have here? It's already 8:31. Let me just do this. I know this feels goofy, but I used to be in college radio, so I just want to give you kind of a station ID. So you are on Destination Decluttered. I don't know if we've met before. Hi, my name is Beth. I am a decluttering life coach. I am showing up on your FYP, maybe just by happenstance, maybe by divine intervention. Maybe the universe said, hey, you know what? Are you struggling with clutter? This woman shows up all the time, talking to people, sharing wisdom, getting people that are clients, all that type of stuff on TikTok. So that's why I'm here for you. I do TikTok lives, and I help you like I'm doing right now. I'll do this for another 28 minutes or so. If you're interested in when I show up again for TikTok lives, if you follow my TikTok page, on the very front of it will be a pinned post that says when I'm showing up next time. I do it about a week in advance, so you'll know in advance to show up. Also, sometimes I will say this, I do some pop-ups. So I often do the pop-ups are often on the weekends because I have a more flexible schedule, and I do it if I feel like it, because that's how I roll. The other thing too, before I get back to our regularly scheduled show, is I want to let you know that I have a Destination Decluttered mailing list. Now, it's better than a mailing list, because mailing list to me is just like a bunch of random emails. What I like to say is the folks who are like members of the mailing list group, like, it's free, first of all, but you get the good stuff, and you get the good stuff first. So if I have a free workshop that I'm going to do, you will know about it before anybody else, people on TikTok. If I have coaching slots available for consultations, you are going to know that way before the public knows. What else do I do? Like yesterday, I just sent out a habit tracker, a free habit tracker, because it's the first of the month. I take care of my people. And so if you're interested in joining that free mailing list, I don't spam you because I freaking hate spam. Oh, that irritates me to no end. I only send out the good stuff. DestinationDecluttered.com/join, and that's to get on the mailing list. When you're on my website too, that's where, if you're interested in me being your one-on-one coach, you can sign up for a consultation. A consultation is the first step to coaching. I do one-on-one coaching over Zoom. I offer 10-week packages that can be stacked next to each other for as long as you need me in your life to get to where you want to go. That's paid coaching. We can talk about what that means to see if we're a good fit. That's what the consultation does. Consultation is just, again, it's free. It's a 1-hour Zoom call that I ask you standard questions about what is jamming you up. And if what you're struggling with is something I can help you with, I explain what coaching is like, and we see if we're going to work together or not. It's as easy as that. Very low key. Very low stakes. I don't like to go into salesy mode, even the fact that I took too long telling you about all this stuff. But really, I say this because there are resources that I offer outside of this that can help you. Okay? Now, back to our regularly scheduled show. Okay? Errand Girl 72 is saying, I'm working on decluttering now. Just need to figure out, cool, you're open to figuring out stuff. That's classic. How to release some things. So here's an interesting thing that I can help you with. Think about what category, I'm all about categories or layer of clutter, the things that you're trying to figure out how to release fall into. Is it surface clutter? Stuff that's just kind of cluttering up your horizontal surfaces? Is it stored clutter? Is it, stuff that's in drawers and doors or boxes? Or is it sentimental clutter? Sentimental clutter is, what do I want to say? Sorry, I just saw some words that got me distracted. Sentimental clutter is stuff that tells you stories, that make you feel feelings, okay? Like, for example, the words I just saw are Brandy Dyson saying, I'm the same way, PTSD, and I've always cried with confrontation, screaming, yelling, etc. So know that there are certain things, there are certain approaches, there are certain ways of dealing with the world that bring out your nervous system in that way, and just notice that, and you can work with that. I've learned to myself to get better at that, but also I'm a human being, so sometimes I cry and it's okay. But just notice that how you feel has to do a lot with these things. When you're holding on to an item, you may be clinging on to it because to you this may be just a spoon, but to me, I know that this is something that belonged to my mother-in-law, and she's no longer with us, and she used to have a whole bunch of these, and I did give a lot of those little metal spoons, little silver spoons, to because I helped declutter the house, because this is just how this decluttering is kind of like my love language. So my way of helping people is when they feel overwhelmed with stuff. I'm like, I don't know if I can help with a lot of the other stuff, but man, can I help you with your items. So I have this is a story, and then I use it. I use it to to use it on my tea. But that's a sentimental item to me. You wouldn't know that by looking at it. To you, it's just a spoon. But it makes me feel a certain way, and I say, hey, Joyce, I'm using your spoon. Okay? Notice how you feel about your stuff. That's going to help you realize whether you want to keep it, whether you want to give it to somebody, whether you want to release it, whether you don't want to bring it into your house to begin with, because that's the great habit change, is when you start decreasing the items that come in, so you don't have to deal with getting them out of there. All right, what else do we got? Okay, interesting. Lisa Lee is saying, went from 2,600 square feet to 1,000 square feet a couple of years back. What a change. I'm still half boxed up. Lisa, just notice that you have been able to live for a couple of years without any of that stuff in your boxes. That is really a cool thing to know, because what you've discovered is that none of those things were necessary for you living your life. If they were, you would have had to open up the box and dig it out to find it. Oh my God, I need that thing. But all the stuff in the boxes, your life has gone on without you ever opening those boxes. So in a way, your brain and nervous system have made a low-level decision, a very kind of sneaky decision that you could eat, that's saying, you don't need this stuff. You've survived 2 years without it. Just notice that. Notice that and be like, oh yeah, that's right. You know what? I haven't gone through that box. I haven't needed anything here. So it may be easier. It will be easier for you to go through those things because you've been able to live a life, hopefully a life you love, by not even going through those boxes. So that should make it easier. Okay? Notice that. I love it. Bloated Wildebeest just said, can't believe I actually caught your live while scrolling through. Gotta run, but see you later. Okay, so I will offer to this for those of you who don't know how I roll. So I do these TikTok lives, but then, excuse me, I'm just going to plug in my phone here. I do these TikTok lives, but then I download them from TikTok and I upload them to a Destination Decluttered channel on YouTube. This allows folks who are running through, like, oh my God, you were there, but I can't. It's cool. I got you. No worries. This whole thing is going to be uploaded to YouTube. And here's the cool thing, is that this was not a thing that I even thought of. It did not even occur to my brain to do that, because that's not how I'm wired. But somebody said, hey, could you upload those? Because I would love to listen to them later while I'm decluttering. I would love to listen to them when I'm driving around in my car doing errands, kind of like a podcast. I would love to, hear your voice, your co-pilot voice in my head, encouraging me, letting me know I'm not alone, problem solving the things I'm stuck with, while I can learn about that while I'm going through my own stuff, and I don't feel so alone, and it makes it feel doable. And I'm here to help you, so I'm like, sure, I'll do that. So in case you are just tuning in, or you're a regular person, just know, like who's known this before, just remember that there's a huge free resource of information for you even when I'm not doing TikTok lives, because there are times when I don't do them. I travel often, And that's one of the things that creates a life I love. But I don't leave you high and dry. I leave you kind of like with a whole basket of pre-recorded TikTok lives. And let me tell you, the cool thing is when you listen to enough of them, when you show up to every single one of them like I do, the neat thing you're going to find out is you're not alone. You're not alone in your clutter. And pretty much the same things come up over and over again. So what you're struggling with, somebody else out there is struggling with too. And that's not to be like, whoa, what's this about? It means you're not alone. We all live in a world. We all live in a world that is half paper, half digital. We are in a transition. We went from a place where you couldn't get a lot of items to now there's mass production and things are like literally like droned to your house. So we're all dealing with an explosion of stuff that the likes of which our society has never seen before in the last 100 years. And how do we deal with this? How do we reconcile all that external stuff with our brains and our nervous systems, our bodies, and what we do in order to feel okay within this skin suit that we wear? And I'm here to help you through that. That's why it's not just, well, this is how you fold your I was going to say fold your towels. I'm pretty good at folding towels because I used to work at Pier 1. The thing I can never get and don't even try, and I'm cool with it, is the fitted sheet. So I'm not going to show you how to fold a fitted sheet. My husband and I are always like, boop, 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 and then we go, ba, 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 ba. Okay, shove it in there, it's fine. Because here's the thing with me too, I will share. I am not just about, I will emphatically say that I don't want you just living in a house that looks perfect. First of all, there's no perfect. But second of all, I want you living a life you love. That's why I'm a decluttering life coach. Life, Dottie, life. So it's not just about your home looking good in case, Martha Stewart and Snoop Dogg show up on your doorstep and say, oh, we're going to write you a citation because, your forks aren't fronted and faced or something. I want you to have a home that looks pleasant to you, that makes you smile, that it feels good when you're in it, that you can easily find things, that you have just the right amount of things so you're not tripping on stuff, you can find the things you want, that your home supports the life you want. And then you're living the life you want, doing the things you want to do, whatever those are, that you have the space, not just for more stuff in your house, but you have the space in your head to come up with new ideas that ain't never been seen before. You have space in your heart to do the things that you're drawn towards. You have space in your calendar to do the things, to schedule the things to do, to go play a game with a sick friend, to go have lunch with other friends, to go to a book club, to go to an exercise class, to take a morning walk. Do you have space in your calendar to do the things you want to do? It's not just about shopping and stuff, but it's about how to declutter not just your home, but your life. Life, Dottie, life. But that can be overwhelming. I get that. But you're like, oh, I don't even know. Shh, it's okay. It's okay. That's why we start with your house. You learn the basics of how to declutter your life by starting with, do I want this teacup or not? How many teacups do I have? Do I even use teacups and saucers? No. Could I get rid of the teacups and saucers from this china set and only keep the dinner plates? Notice that. Okay. ADHD, clutter, overwhelm. Today is my day to start to clear the algorithm new to send you. Yes, the Farmhouse Sanctuary. You're in good hands here because I have ADHD in my family. I have it in my clients. So I have many tips that will help everybody, all the neuros. Okay. What I wanted to say is start yourself small and incremental and give yourself a Liz Lemon high five. Milk that dopamine for every task you do to realize that it's good to do there. Don't just do all or nothing. Okay. Holy Moses, I just realized there are 49 new messages because I've been chatting here. Let me see what I can do. Thank you very much for everybody, too, who often pops in and helps your fellow person here when they're saying something. All right, what do we have this? Yes, I have that on merch. Okay, here we go. Yeah, and if you haven't, please follow my TikTok page so you know when I do the TikTok lives and hop on my mailing list, destinationdeclutter.com/join. I love it. German Made 95. Thank you for taking care of the newbies. I love it. Everybody. It's helpful to hear her voice while I'm working. I always feel like George Costanza. Oh, I hate to hear my voice. It's all high and whiny. When I was in college radio back in the 80s, it was one of those like, oh my God, that's my voice. And I was like, yeah, it is. It is. But if I didn't have it, I guess I'd write. but it's my easy way to communicate with you and get these really cool ideas that I just want to freaking share with you because they're going to freaking change your life so awesomely. It's my way of getting them out as easy for me, and it's easy for me, and it's easy for you. Okay, 3 generations of sentimental clutter. I will offer this for everybody here. I'm here for you. I'm not here for any of those generations, whether they're the older folks or they're the younger folks, and you're the meat in the sandwich, as I like to say, because I'm a Gen X. I'm here for you. So I will ask, what do you want your home to look like? What stuff do you want in your home? Now, I have stuff that's from my mother and my father, and my dad passed, my mom's still around. They had different tastes than me. They had different interests than me, and that's okay. I have different tastes from them, and that's okay. It has taken me decades to feel okay about the life that I have organically wanted to live that is different from theirs. I always felt like I didn't measure up, that I should like the things that they like, that I'm somehow a freak because I didn't like what they wanted, until I realized, no, there's room in the world for me and what I like. And when I learned to stop judging myself and start loving who I was and following my heart and my bliss, as it were, that's when my life turned to awesomeness. 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 30 years ago me would be like, ha, yeah, nice. Oh, that would be nice for somebody else, not me. I'm stuck here, blah. You have an opportunity to create a home you want with just the stuff you want in it. So if it used to be owned by somebody else, you don't need to keep it all. You don't need to keep any of it. There may be some of it that you want to keep because you want to keep it, but don't let anybody else's guilt thoughts keep things you don't want. Make sure, do something so you make sure they go to a good home if you want, or pitch it. At the end of the day, it's just stuff. Don't let stuff get in the way of you living on this short time on the planet, living a life you love. It's just stuff. Yeah, notice this. My husband has no attachment. He laughs because everything I have has a story attached. Everybody has a different thought and feeling and action about clutter. And I've heard of these robots that have no attachment. Maybe they also have a story about why they have no attachment. Those of us who are sentimental, those of us who can personify, what is that? Not objectification. I can't remember what it's called. There's something about anthropomorphism, is giving human qualities to inanimate objects. Oh, look at this cute little spoon. It's so cute. I'm part of you. I'm like that. But what I say is I want the things that I have sentimental, I want the stories all to be good. I don't want to be sitting around by like, oh, that's that plate that somebody gave me. I have a story about a great aunt of mine who I loved, and she was doing her best to try to help me navigate the world. But she says, you shouldn't, don't collect that Fiesta ware. No, you should like this blue and white stuff. And I loved her, but I was like, no, I love this colorful dishes. And I've loved them for freaking 40 years, people. At this point, you love what you love. And she was not trying to make me feel bad, but kind of, about not liking blue Canton. And so she gave me this plate, and every time I saw it, I was like, fuck, I don't want this. And so I found a way I said, you, Aga, I love you, but I'm giving it away to somebody else who's going to freaking love this, somebody who is genuinely collecting this stuff. And not only did that feel weird, it felt a little bit, but afterwards I felt good. I felt better because I was claiming my right to be here, who I am, showing up with my interests, and not feeling guilted into being somebody I wasn't. Okay? Penny says, I have all 3 levels of clutter. I can declutter, but only last a few weeks, and then it's back. Penny 5, you know why? Your habits. Your habits. It's just habits. You have a habit of getting the clutter coming back, unless you have, little people of Stonehenge running around your house that are doing that for you. Okay? Just notice that you have habits. So stop yourself. Become aware. Even just look like Nancy Drew. I like to say, look for a clue, Nancy Drew. Look for a place that is cluttered right now in your house, Penny. And say, I'm going to be there with my little spyglass. What is a magnifying glass? How did that get there? Oh, you know what? When I came in from the grocery store, I dumped it there and I just went off and did other things. And I didn't go back and put back those items. That's a habit. You just have a habit of putting stuff where it doesn't really belong, and you have a habit of doing that and then not going back and fixing it. Here's the thing I love. Try this one on for size, because so many people lead with, especially in coaching. My problem is You know what my big problem is? You know what my problem is? You know what my problem is? No, you don't have problems. Here, like embroider this on a pillow. I don't have problems. I just have habits. Notice that my habit feels so less judgy and so much more doable because you can change a habit. You can stop a habit and do something different that leads you to a decluttered home. I don't have problems. I just have habits. Stop telling yourself you're broken. Stop telling yourself I am unfixable. Stop telling yourself you have problems. That's on like the judgment side of things. That's the unhelpful words that get you feeling bad and staying stuck. On the other hand, you say habits. It's just habits. Habits can be fixed. When I'm aware of them, I can do something to fix it. And it's practice. So just notice that. How to deal. Stephanie is asking how to deal with kids' toys after the kids are grown up. Ask yourself why you have them. Why have you saved them? And depending upon your answer, do something with that information. You may have saved those because you wanted to give them to your kids when they had kids. So if that's the case, ask your kids if they want them for their kids and honor their sovereignty, honor their ability, they know themselves to say, no, thank you for sharing that. Thank you for saving that for me. But no, I don't want that. Allow them to do that. Allow them to be okay with that. Don't guilt somebody into something. Maybe you save them because they're still good, they were unused, and maybe somebody will use them someday. Then you can get curious. Where's there a place that you can donate them? Maybe they were expensive and maybe you can sell them on the secondary market. But you know what it starts? It starts up here. Why did I save them in the first place? Another way could be, seriously, it could be just sentimental. Because I remember these things have stories. I have stories of when my kids played with these things. So maybe what you could do is could you say to your kids, okay, I know you may not want these. Could you sit with me, even on Zoom? Could we do a Zoom and I could show you? Remember when you used to play with this? Oh, that was so cool. I loved that. Share that moment with them. And then you put it in a loving little box to give to a kid who doesn't have any toys at all. Okay? Okay, I want to sell them, says Stephanie, but it's really hard to do. Notice I'm putting little quotey quotes here. It's really hard to do. So 2 things. One is, why is it really hard? And if you think it's going to be hard, it will be hard. So if you think it's going to be hard and you don't want to do it, then don't do it. Go do something else instead of selling it. Notice that. Okay. There we go. Let the kids make the decisions, you know. I love it. Yeah. I don't have problems. Yeah. No guilt. Guilt is an unhelpful. Like if I was to listen to me. This is where I get kind of like bossy older sister, as my sister would say. I want to help you with this. Notice how my hands are going like this. This is because when I coach, I tell everybody to get a workbook, okay? And I say this, it's like, you know, a 50-cent notebook from Staples. Don't be too fussy. Don't get one that's like $19.95 and it's all precious. I want it to be spiral bound so you can tear out the pages when you're done. I want it to be messy. And what I say is fold a piece of paper in half. Make 2 columns. Okay, right here, you and I, we have 2 columns in us, okay? One side is unhelpful. You have an unhelpful thought that makes you feel a crappy feeling, and when you feel a crappy feeling, you do a crappy thing. You either do something destructive or unhelpful, or you don't do anything. You just stay stuck. On the other side of this line on you and this line on the paper is the opposite, is a more helpful thought, a more helpful feeling, a more helpful action. What I want you to do is tap into what these unhelpful things are that you say to yourself all the time, write them down, and then translate them into the opposite. Okay? Guilt and shame and judgment keep you stuck. Curiosity and love and compassion and kindness get you feeling better, and when you feel better, you're more likely to take an action that leads you to your destination. And it all starts up here and in here. Don't beat yourself up for who you are. Celebrate who you are and work with who you are so that you can get the life that you want, not the life somebody else wants. Because they have their life, you know? Don't give them yours. All right. I love this. What else do we have? Off to run, literally me, after cleaning up a bit. You got this. Yeah, my daughter came home and then I had no problem throwing stuff away. Find what works for you. When I coach, I talk about us being in the driver's seat. So there's only room in the driver's seat for one person in your life, and that is you. But you in the car of your life, you're the driver, so you can move forward, you can move, you can stop, you can take detours. But when you know where you want to go, it's going to make you easier to get there. So pull over if you're not sure where you're going today after I do this TikTok live, and sit down and write down, what do I want my home/life to look like? How do I want to feel? And if you don't know what you want to feel and all the good stuff, write down how crappy it is now on that one side of the paper, and then say to yourself, what's the opposite? If I feel heavy, I want to feel light. If I feel overwhelmed, I want to feel at peace. I want to feel in control, whatever it is. Okay? I love it. Somebody says they were healed enough to start throwing things away. Yeah, when you realize it's just stuff. But notice that you are the driver. And you, every morning when we get up, and this is maybe why I'm doing an early morning one. Crazy thing is I just realized I'm going to do a TikTok live tonight at 8 p.m. We'll see how that goes. 2 TikTok lives in a day. I'm going to be running on fumes, but it will be fun. And what I want to say is every morning we get up and we get into our car, both literally and metaphorically, and say, here I am today in the driver's seat. Where am I driving to? Where am I excited to get to today? Notice that. And where, if you're not there yet, what are some things you can do to get closer to your destination? Capricious is saying, what were those 3? Just think of all the good stuff in your heart. It's like love. Love. Here at the very end of the day, you've got those 2 columns. Is it under a category of fear? I'm afraid that, or is it a category of love? I love myself enough to do this. Love, curiosity. Curiosity opens you up. Yes, and thank you, the fellow Horse Sports Naturally. Curiosity, compassion, kindness, all the good stuff. Treat yourself like that. That will open up your brain and your nervous system like a flower, so you can say, oh, you know what? You're right. I can do this, as opposed to shutting down like an armadillo. You can open up like a sponge, and ideas will come to you, and encouragement will come to you, and then harness that energy, and then hit the road. Do some stuff. Don't just stay here in theory. Put it into practice. Okay? There we go. I have to throw it away. If somebody else does it, it really affects me negatively. Get curious about that. The 8 o'clock is for everyone. Actually, Gwen, thanks for asking. I do have a Destination Decluttered Zoom call that I'm doing just for the clients. I do that once a month. I say not clients, excuse me. Just for people on the mailing list. On the Zoom call, I do a monthly free Zoom call just for people on the mailing list. It's usually in the evening because I have different people from different time zones. So if you want to get on that Zoom call, it literally has like 1/10 of the people that show up on a TikTok live. So it's fun. We get together, we help each other out, we talk back and forth. It's really fun. So that's destinationdecluttered.com/join. But tonight I realized that I'm experimenting because I like to play. I'm getting curious about what would it be like to do a TikTok live at night? What would it be like to do a TikTok live in the afternoon? What would it be like to not show up and do a TikTok live for 10 days when I'm vacationing? And what will it be like to show up afterwards? Experiment and play. Have a sense of lightness and play with your life. It doesn't have to be so heavy. If you want to feel free and light, approach things with that. Okay? You're welcome, Lisa. And actually, I love it. Katie says, for the pep talk, how do we get on the mailing list? destinationdecluttered.com/join. I say that now, and then I'm going to sign off because I have coaching and consultations to do today. Sherry says, you are an answered prayer. The universe provides. It does. There's help out there for you. As the old saying goes, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. So take this maybe as me just showing up on your FYP. Follow my TikTok page for more things because I like seeing my numbers grow. It's kind of fun like that. But take this as a sign that you are ready to start to declutter your life. And I am here to help you. And maybe nobody else has ever explained it in a way that made sense to you like this. Maybe that's why I showed up. Choose to believe that I showed up on your FYP or on when you're listening to this on the YouTube channel, that I showed up today in your life for a reason. And say, you know what? It's about time. And then what can I do today between 8 a.m. right now and 8 p.m. tonight when I show up again to declutter my life? How about that? Do something today that gets your life moving in the direction you want, and then show up on tonight's TikTok live at 8 p.m. Eastern and tell me what it is in the comments, okay? I have to go. I will see you later. Bye.